Hello and welcome to the Construction Record Podcast. I'm digital media editor Warren Frey. On this episode of the podcast, I speak with CAW Architects principals Mousam Adcock and Monique Wood about architecture firms' accomplishments in the institutional and educational sectors, and the firm's shift to becoming a women-led organization. Wood and Adcock talk about their highly collaborative process with clients, their own career paths within the architectural industry, and what being a woman-led company means to them. Here's the interview. My first question is, could you give me sort of a short, I mean, it's not short, it's a 20-year or more time frame that the company's been around, but like a short capsule history of CAW in terms of who founded it and what it's been accomplishing in the last 20 years.
Yeah, absolutely. I can take that question. Our firm is close to 30 years old now, and till earlier this year was led by two partners, Chris Wozni and Brent McClure. And from early on in the practice, it was mostly residential architecture, but it's grown over time to, now we're like 30 plus strong, and our portfolio has grown with that. And part of that is really a very strong team. We've had like two of our new partners. As you know, we have 5 new partners now, and two of them, Katie Gutierrez and Kauri Abiko, they've been with the firm almost all of those 30 years and have been co-leading the firm. So them being partners is absolutely, right move. And Monique and I have been here about 12 years. And our 5th partner, Matt Dorman, also has been here, I think about 15 years or so. And we've been in the firm leadership for a little while now, and now joining as ownership partners. And adding previously, like I said, it was a male-led firm, and now we're more female-led with the new partnership. But while that sounds like a big shift, like it is actually reflective of how the firm has grown. We are majority women. We have been for a little while, and so our new partners really just reflects the diversity of our firm. Other than that, I mean, a big part of our growth is really our projects and our clients who have trusted us to give us projects of scale, size, and complexity that matches our mission, and hence our growth. So yeah, we've been around for just about 3 decades now and growing.
That was going to be my next question. Looking at your portfolio, there's a lot of education, predominantly maybe, but there's a little bit more than just that. But was that a conscious decision to begin with when it started, or is it just kind of that's what you excelled at first and it just kind of kept going from there, or a bit of both?
Maybe I can jump in here on that. The mission that we kind of follow is doing work to better our communities. And so it drives us to the types of clients that are doing the type of work that we want to see in our communities. So we have historically been extremely involved with educational projects from preschool all the way through major university work. And we also tend to do a lot of community type projects, and we can talk about specifics on those, but we really our mission drives the types of clients that we pursue and that we agree to work with.
Yeah, like within that, educational community base, we also have a lot of historic rehabilitation type projects and performance venues and like just about every building type in the K through 12 school campus and university campuses. Other than the medical side of campus, we pretty much do all others, And we've even designed a little zoo right here in our Palo Alto neighborhood. But yeah, generally it's our community-based projects and education-based project is our like bigger umbrella, but within that there's a whole lot of project types. And like to go into the more specifics, one that's really near and dear to me is we finished a few years ago is a very large renovation addition and a new building at UC Santa Cruz campus that we did. At Merrill College, and it was a wholesale reimagining of the campus and giving that 50-plus-year-old, I think is the 4th campus on UC Santa Cruz campus, a whole new look, a new inviting plaza, and we were actually able to make that whole site accessible to wheelchairs, which, on the top of a hill, not easy task. And yeah, at Stanford, we've done many projects, new buildings like Traytel Building, Stage House, and amenities at Frost Amphitheater, Donahue Family Farm. It's a beautiful little jewel project. And many renovations of historical significance, like SAP Center, which was a major renovation. It was one of the oldest buildings on campus, but it was mothballed for many years, decades, really, because of seismic issues. And we hollowed out the whole inside and built a whole new structure inside of it. And now it's thriving labs and classrooms and everything. Yeah, and also it used in the whole historically significant rehabilitation project. We've done a lot of work at UC Berkeley at Greek Theater, and about a decade ago we did major seismic retrofit of the Stage House, and recently we completed a North Plaza addition to that. We've received California Preservation Foundation work for awards, I mean, for both of those. Even the new Plaza edition was a CPF award for, for the location and fitting it in that historic fabric. So we're really proud of that.
And please correct me if this is a dumb male question in the first place, but it's a women-led firm. Does that lend itself to a different approach or a different perspective in terms of what you're designing and how you're designing it? Or am I crazy just for even saying that?
Mousam and I talked about that a little bit in preparation for this. And it really boils down to the fact that all of us are trained architects. We design to the specifics of the project and the intent of the client. I think where, in my opinion, being a women-led firm and having a majority of women throughout the entire office, it's really in how we run and manage our teams and our projects and our approaches to working with our clients. We have a very high percentage of repeat clients. And I really think a lot of that has to do with the fact that we try to really nurture those relationships. We listen. We are very thorough in making sure that we're hearing the arguments and the intent that the client has, and helping them to overcome their challenges. All architects do that, but there's a way of really making sure that we're letting people be heard and helping them to even come. A lot of times the questions, they don't know what questions to even ask. They come to us and say, I have this problem. I don't know how to fix it. Can you help us? And sometimes it's really just helping them to come to understand what are the questions you need to ask yourself about how you're doing this thing that you're trying to do. So I think both of us have a very different experience, but we've both been in the presence of very strong female architects throughout our career. And I think that has kind of given us a role model to follow and given us an example that says that person is an architect. That person is not a male architect or a female architect. They're an architect. And I was saying, one particular example, when I was in graduate school getting my architecture degree, the dean of the school was female. She had attended the school. This was Washington University in St. Louis. She had attended the school as a student. She was literally the only female architecture student in the building. And then within her generation lifetime, she was now the dean of the program. I think that really just goes to show, that there has been this progression even within my lifetime. And I'm 50, I'll age myself, but within 50 years, it really has gone from women being not very present in the architecture industry to women being in very strong leadership roles. And so I feel very lucky that I had really wonderful mentors, both male, but also in particular female.
Yeah, I grew up with my mom being an architect. So, all my life, that's been, the role model, and leading her firm as well. So, but here in, particular to CAW, our mission in seeking out community and public projects naturally leads us to clients and collaborators who are welcoming and inclusive. And that really helps build our, our fabric around us.
That kind of answers my next question, which is I talk to a lot of at any conference I go to, there's always to the point of stereotypical, there's always a women in construction seminar. And what I hear most of the time is that the conditions, and construction is not architecture. One's a little more rough and tumble than the other. So there's that to add to it, and there's a whole lot more men in it. But is that it says it's interesting how it's a yes and no answer, I guess, because you're saying those conditions have been in architecture, but it seems like they kind of got with the program a little earlier than construction still has not really.
Yeah.
I think it's on its way. It's definitely lagging behind, but because we're the project managers of our projects, we're the ones out in the field reminding people of the intent of our detailing and our documentation, and frankly, sometimes telling them that they didn't do things right. And that can be more challenging if it's a very male-dominated team. But we're starting to see that there's much more of a female presence on construction sites throughout the entire breadth of the teams, which is great.
Particularly in the GCs and the office staff, like project engineers, project managers from the construction side. I'm really happy to see a lot more female presence on the other side of the table when I go to job sites and job site meetings. And that's, I think you're right that maybe they're a step behind, but I definitely see more presence of women and strong women on the construction teams too, which is really great.
And the other thing I hear is it's not just getting people into, because the people are getting into the roles, women are getting into the roles, but then it's keeping them in the roles. That's the real challenge. I've heard that from the States and Canada. It's I don't know, is architecture the same? It's probably not quite the same because of how much extra you got to do just to become an architect.
I don't know. I think it's fascinating to me because I feel like everyone has things in their lives that can pull them from the workforce for whatever reason, taking care of a parent, having a sick spouse or whatever. But people always point to, oh, she went off and had a child, and so then she changed her career trajectory. I don't see that as much in architecture because we have people who are coming out of architecture school as a second career. They've already had a full career and they decided they really were passionate about this field and wanted to go back to school. And we have people who, for whatever reason, whether it's raising children or dealing with other life challenges, they've had to take a few years off. And I think in architecture, it's probably a little bit more interesting because we tend to look at someone both from their school experience, their prior work experience, but also kind of their life experience. If you're going to be managing a project, you have to have a level head. You have to be able to be in the situation, understand your audience, and really kind of know who you're talking to and how to talk to a wide range of people, because we're talking to, multi-billion-dollar clients, and we're also talking to an electrician out in a site, and we need to understand the range of how those communications happen. So I think one of the things that Mousam and I were talking through yesterday was this sense of equity and inclusiveness. And I really want to make sure that we're not coming across as, girl power, that's the only way to go. We hire the best people. They just happen to be 50% women.
Yeah.
But we have mentorship possibilities in our office and mentorship programs that we assign every single new hire. We really want to make sure that people are able to thrive in the field of architecture and grow their career in the way that they want to. And there are many different paths to that. There are some people who are absolutely focused and passionate about design. And then there are people like me who really love to do master planning and management of projects and, working with the people in the industry. So there's a whole range of positions for people. And so we really try to be very individualized in our mentorship.
Yeah. Not just about women, it's about everybody, right?
Yeah, I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
and even the speed with which people go through their career, right? Some people are very, we always tell people when they come to our firm that you're only limited by your ambition. If you want to take on more, we will happily give you more, and we will give you opportunities and be there when things don't go right. But, it's really up to the individual to set their course. So.
And I guess finally, if people want to look at what CAW has done and sort of your policies, where would they go to find that out?
I believe our website is pretty robust in that we really do try to focus on our culture and making sure that our culture is thriving. We talk the talk, but we also walk the walk. We really are inclusive in every aspect of our work, and in the way we form our teams. We try to keep people on our teams from the beginning all the way through the end of the project so that everyone has a chance to grow and expand themselves. But I think a lot of that is up there, and we have our
CAWarchitects.com. Yeah, it's both our, not just our firm profile, but and our work, but also our people. Who is, our people are our asset, the biggest asset. Yeah.
Great. Thank you for joining us today.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us.
And that's it for this episode of the Construction Record Podcast. You can hear us on Apple Music, Amazon Music, and Spotify, as well as on the Daily Commercial News and Journal of Commerce websites. Thanks for listening.